everyone, this is Sodhi from CAAN Wings Consultants. Welcome to this YouTube session. I think I'm meeting you after a very long time and a very happy new year. Today I want to get started with a $1 million question that everybody's asking, whether we should go for a 190 or a 491 nomination. Now that the quotas have been allocated to all the states and they do have the places in abundance for both 190 as well as 491 nomination, the applicants are actually confused whether they should wait for a 190 nomination or go ahead and apply for a 491. So let me just help you get started there. So first of all, let's just try and understand what is the basic difference. I do know that a lot of you actually prefer to go for 190 because there is a picture most applicants have drawn in their mind that 190 is a PR and 491 is a TR. It's a temporary visa. So there's a lot of uncertainty with 491. You may have to come back, or you may not be able to achieve the kind of income they want you to achieve, and so on. So let me just clear the air here. While 190 is direct permanent residence from here itself, absolutely true. The 491 visa, I wouldn't really call it a temporary visa, it's a provisional visa because it is very similar to the 190 visa in the sense that you can take your family with you. It's a family visa and you get to work in Australia like you get to work in 190 visa. Your work rights are full-time or overtime, whatever. You have access to the Medicare. Under the 491, you have access to the childcare benefits and so on. You are entitled to take up government jobs in 491 the way you are entitled in 190 and so on. However, excuse me, bad weather. So, however, what dissuades the applicants is that probably under the 491 you can only live in regional areas. Now let me tell you that in order to boost the incoming migrants into the regional areas, typically the entire Australia is regional as on today except for Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane. The only restraint you have under the 491 is that you can't live in these three major cities or work in these cities. Other than that, you're free to live and work anywhere. And under the 491, after 3 years, you need to demonstrate that you have achieved an income of $52,900, almost $53,000 a year. Now, if you look at this income, this figure, from a student's perspective, this may be a lot because students can only work part-time in Australia. But if you're looking at this figure from a resident's perspective who's eligible to work full-time and has no restriction on the kind of employment he can take up, this figure is very achievable. $53,000 is something one can very easily achieve because the minimum wages would be probably more than this. So this is something you need to factor in when you are, getting dissuaded by the 491 visa. Now, if we draw a quick comparison between the two, under the 190, you get 5 points for your nomination. Under the 491, you get 15 points. So that's an upside with 491 here. Under the 190, only those who are sitting within the STSOL and the MLTSSL can apply, whereas for 491, all the lists are eligible, such as the MLTSSL, STSOL, and the ROL. And there are a lot of occupations which are in the ROL list and they technically are not eligible for a 190. Now, the 190, at least for the migration year 22-23, is largely invitation based. So there's very little control you have over the visa process. You have to wait for the states to pick you and invite you for a 190 nomination. Whereas under the 491, while the 491 visa is also invitation based, you still have more control in this visa because you can go ahead and make a direct application for a nomination in states such as NSW. And then what I've personally seen is that states tend to give preference for a 491 nomination to offshore applicants instead of 190 unless your occupation is on the MLTSSL or you're scoring very high on the STSL occupations. Okay, I'm going to support this with an example. Let's go ahead with a very popular occupation, a private tutor. Now, private tutor or teacher NEC is an STSL occupation. So let's say the state of South Australia or the state of Victoria has to send out a nomination to an offshore applicant. Would they send it to a private tutor for a 190 or a 491? So my guess here is that they would send it for a 491. On the other hand, if the state has to send out, let's say, an invitation to a software engineer, would they send it for a 190 or 491? They're likely to send it for a 190 because it's an MLT-SSL occupation. And then on the other hand, let's say we go ahead with another STSL occupation, and it's a marketing specialist, but somebody sitting at 90 points. Then the likelihood of the person being invited for a 190 is higher than a 491. So it's a combination, the permutations involved. It's very hard to predict who can get a nomination for 190 or 491. It's in the hands of the states. But what is in your hands is that if your occupation is eligible for a direct application, please do not miss this occupation. Please do not think that someday you will get a 190 invitation and but you just may miss the bus. We even lose on the opportunity for a 491. The next point I want to clarify on is the processing time. I've been getting a lot of questions regarding this. Recently, there's been a readjustment in the global processing time, and the processing time for 190 has been changed from 3 months to 11 months to 6 months to 11 months. While there has been a drastic change in the processing times indicated for the 491 visa, and it has gone up from 11 months to 29 months. Now, a 491 visa is technically supposed to be a priority visa. So people are asking what kind of a priority visa is this, where the processing times have increased enormously for this visa. So my answer to that question is that just hold tight. The timelines are subject to revisions every now and then. So what you see now is not necessarily what is going to remain. Depending on the application load, the timelines will be changed. So it's not that necessarily 491 is going to take longer than 190. So that is it for now. I'd like you to shoot any questions that you may have. I'd love to hear from you. In case you have your CV that you need to get assessed, please send it to us. In case you are in the middle of the process, probably you've got your skills assessment done, a little undecided about whether to go for a 190 or whether you should go for a 491, please send your query, email it to us, and I'll be happy to answer that for you. So until next time, bye-bye and take care.